Squadron. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, in justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Lon, would you like to say something?
Servicemen and ladies and their families, Lord. We lift them up, comfort them, give them the resources that they need, and we pray dearly, Lord, for our leadership of this country, Lord, and all the stuff that's going on with that. Give them wisdom that they need. And we ask for the same thing here, and be with us this evening. Amen.
Amen.
Bob's a good one for that too. So.
Yeah, I know by now. All right, Squadron, we have a visitor today, our group commander, Ken Banner. Let's welcome him. Major Banner will present a science project. It's actually, I'll let him to speak for that. Before we move to the fun stuff, we have more fun to do. We have a couple of awards and one promotion to take care of today. So I would like to give a word to Major Banner.
Take off the white jacket, hang on. Get back to uniform.
You're Group 3 commander now.
Oh, okay.
We have 2 awards, and I will give you
Awesome. Christopher Younger, please step forward. And Lieutenant Tikhonov. Get both of you right here in front of the fire. Easier to see. Yeah, I put a table in the way.
Chris, be careful. Don't trip under that cable.
I'm looking at it.
So, Younger and Andrei Tikhonov have earned their Benjamin O. Davis Awards. So, I'm going to present those to you. So, thank you very much. And that is for your level 1s?
completion
Level 2. Level 2. Smart Group Commander. So, thank you very much, gentlemen, for taking care of that. Much. And we have a little bit extra to do for Mr. Tikhonov here. So I need somebody else to take this. Sure, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
We do a little PAO for people looking on the camera and the TV. So there the.
So congratulations.
Yay! Awesome. Thank you.
All right, that's it. You can go.
Okay, can I get someone to hold this microphone for us? Everyone's busy here for a
It's
second.
got a clip. You can put it on there.
Okay,
Go,
we can.
go help Ken. Take one of the epaulets.
Oh,
Well, we're trying to get some people
Okay.
that can see stuff.
So I'm going to swear you in for your new rank, sir. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name,
I, Andrei Tikhonov,
having been appointed to the grade of First Lieutenant
having been appointed to the grade of First Lieutenant
in the Civil Air Patrol,
in Civil Air Patrol,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
and comply with the Constitution,
and comply with the Constitution,
bylaws, and regulations
bylaws, and regulations
of the Civil Air Patrol,
of the Civil Air Patrol,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
all of the duties and responsibilities,
all of the duties and responsibilities,
as well as obey the orders
as well as obey the orders
of the officers appointed over me
of the officers appointed over me
according to regulations.
according to regulations.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, you can get one side here. Just make sure you're on the camera side of things. We get a stapler so make sure these don't leave.
Somewhere.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir.
Okay.
We don't want those to catch on fire.
Man, what are you gonna do up there? Now I'm scared. Now you gotta recycle.
All right. So a few more updates regarding the budget planning. We have calculated the preliminary expenses for the next year. It's rounding up at approximately $8,905, I believe. There is an increases cost in cost for the facilities, as previously I explained. Internet so far stays the same. We will look for options to maybe subsidize the internet through relationship with Spectrum, or potentially maybe getting a broadband wireless internet from Verizon Wireless or competitive provider. So I will personally take that option as my effort. That will help us to remove approximately, well, $1,300 of our expenses. For us to break even, we need to raise through membership duties this amount, and that means we would need to have 45 members in our squadron. That will actually make our budget a simple exercise. Now we are making good effort on increasing the recruitment activities, and I highly recommend to all the squadron members to invite your family, friends who are interested in aviation, who may be interested in doing other services for civil air patrol besides aviation related, maybe ground search, communications, health related activities. Airspace education is a big one, which means we can actually go and present aerospace education topics to the community at schools and maybe colleges and so on and so forth. So next thing to do on the budget side, the new finance officer, Jason, will finalize that. We will call a meeting with finance committee and approve it. Then we submit it to group. Well, I'm group finance officer, so that will be easy. And we will incorporate the squadron budget into the group budget and move it for the approval with the wing. Yes, Lon?
When you meet with the finance committee, can you come up with a dollar amount that would be above and beyond where you keep the current squadron dues? I think it's $200 a year, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So the budget that we need is somewhat over that. So our current membership, if they continue to pay, you know, what's remaining, like $1,000, $2,000?
We currently have 34 active members. Out of 34 active members, I believe 8 members didn't pay the dues for the last year. And I'm actively pursuing these members to pay the dues. One of them actually called me back and he apologized that he wasn't participating actively because he moved to Florida for training. He's doing his ATP training there. But he is expected to be back in November, and he promised he will mail the check. But I'll continue actually pursuing our current members on paying the dues for the present year. And of course, as soon as the new fiscal year starts, we will repeat the process. For the members who just started and paid late in the year, first time, our typical practice is we take the full amount since we need money, but we prorate the dues for the next year based on the time difference they had actually at Civil Air Patrol. So I will calculate exact number what we anticipate to get from our members without additional increase in membership, and what will be the difference in dollar amount we need to raise from different sources. So
That's kind of what I'm getting at. So,
right.
Approximately $1,700 your answer. 1,700 to 2,000,
All right.
depending on what you
well,
calculate.
rather than raising the rates, you know, for all the membership up above 200, that, you know, let me know, because I think I know of a donor that might come up with that extra money.
Yes, and last meeting we discussed with Bob some other options for raising money, and we will actively pursue these options for the next fiscal year. So any ideas you may have to help Squadron financially, please bring it to my attention, to attention of our finance committee, and we will discuss and execute as required. Next, I'd like to give a word to you, Lon, to give a quick update on aircraft.
Our turbo 206 43 Charlie Papa is sitting up there. I sent emails out to the appropriate people that it's ready to come pick up, and they need to, you know, consider the procedures for engine break-in and all that. I didn't hear I didn't hear anything back from any of the people that I emailed Colonel Pruzak, Colonel Vita, and Tom. Yeah, I always struggle with his last name, but anyway, they've all been notified that they can come pick the plane up. That's what they wanted, so it's still sitting there. So I have not heard anything back on that one. So the plane's ready to go. They just need to come pick it up.
They might wait until an IPL weekend where they can fly it a lot of hours.
Something. Yeah. Well, so there's the status on that plane. The other one, 743, we just had the oil change Monday. I flew it today to get the Form 5, and I wrote up some more discrepancies and cleared some discrepancies. They're going to come pick it up tomorrow, brand new. He's not an examiner, but he's an instructor. Adam Brooks from Palm Springs. They're going to pick it up tomorrow, and they have lined up a bunch of training for their pilots out there. They need to get their Form 5s also. So that's in the works, and they're going to apparently keep it to September 9th, I believe. And then it'll come back here. So that's pretty much the status on that. It's flying good.
But by the way, you mentioned you got your Form 5 today.
I did.
Everybody? We have a new pilot, or new renewed pilot, actually.
Requalified, yeah.
Requalified
I mean,
pilot, so.
I've got a lot of hours as a mission pilot. It's just that when at the tail end of my job, everything got so busy. I lost my qualifications, and then COVID, and then the stars weren't lining up with the airplanes. We had 3 different configurations of airplanes that we were going through. And so perseverance is the name of the game for me. You stick it out, and finally got my Form 5 after 7 years.
Congratulations.
Requalified.
All right, I'll give a quick word to our visitors. So Chris, Michelle, just a few words about you, why you're here.
Hi, I'm Chris Lopez. I have had my PPL for a little over 2 years now. I've been involved in aviation since, well, as long as I can remember. My dad was a pilot in the Army Air well, he wasn't a pilot for the Army Air Corps, but he was a pilot and was in the Army Air Corps. Let's put it that way. He passed away about 10 years ago. I began trying to get my license in 2000, ran out of money. And then my wife, who's with me here today, said about in 2018, said, have you ever thought about going back and getting it? And I said, oh, every day. And so, and then I met Andre at an EAA event on Sunday, and he was talking about this, and so it sounded interesting. So my day job is I'm a PC tech. Been that for about 14 years or so now. So that's a little bit about me.
Ran out of money working GAA stuff. That's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm his wife. I didn't really know anything about aviation until we met. He took me to my first air show, and I've been going ever since. Love aviation now. Never flown anything. I've always flown with him. My day, or I should say night job, is I'm actually a nurse. So I've been doing that for 20 years. I work in pediatrics with neonatal. So yeah, I just thought this might be an interesting, see what can come of this. It sounds very fascinating to me.
We're a good group of people.
Welcome.
Welcome. And we have our second time visitor, Evgeny. So welcome back, and I'm glad you're here. So I'll now hand over the microphone to our Major
Turn it
Banner.
over to me. Well, you don't want to hand me the microphone because I'm probably going to melt it in what we're doing.
Okay.
If you could set it up someplace, that'd be great.
Sounds good.
So, hey, so welcome, folks. What I'm going to do tonight, I'm doing a little science and a little magnetic and electrical demonstration that I've done quite a bit for cadet units. I was thinking about it as I'm doing this because I generally geared it towards cadet stuff without necessarily considering just going to an all-senior squadron. But whenever I do the composite squadrons, all the senior members in there love the demo, and I love this stuff. So what the heck? You get a room full of older non-cadets, some adult members in here, and let's see if we can electrocute some of you. Now you guys all know the what happens if you catch on fire, stop, drop, and roll, all that stuff, right? Okay, so I gotta make sure we don't miss any of that. So, what some of you might have seen when we came in, I was demonstrating. A lot of people know conductors and insulators, and realize that wires, metal conducts electricity, and rubber, vinyl, things like that insulate. A lot of people don't think about air being a conductor, but one of the first things we demonstrated coming in is this Jacob's ladder. And if you get the voltage up high enough, like to 15,000 volts, air will conduct electricity. Magnetism and electricity are absolutely 100% related to each other. Moving electrons create magnetism, and a magnet moving past a conductor moves electrons. So an interesting demonstration I have two metal slugs here. One of these is a magnet, not this one, okay? And one's just a steel slug, okay? So what I'm going to show off for someone here. I'll turn you so you can see too. All right, sir. Copper pipe. I have a steel slug, obviously doesn't stick to copper. And we know magnets don't stick to copper, right? So I'm going to drop this steel slug through the copper pipe. Okay, so go ahead and put your hand in there to catch it. Okay, pretty much what you expected, right? Do that again. Okay, so I'm going to take the magnet, also does not stick to copper. We're going to drop that through, so catch this one.
What happened?
It's the same size and the same weight. So if anybody couldn't see that.
Oh, I saw it.
Oh, sir? So metal slug, drops right through. Magnet. It's going.
Why does it do that, Ken?
So what's happening? Anybody have any ideas? So this is a demonstration for what's called Lenz's law. Like I said, if you pass a magnet past a conductor, it generates an electrical field. Oh. How rude of me. There you go. So, good being on the ball, sir. So, when you pass a magnet past a conductor, it generates an electrical field. And we already discussed that an electrical field generates a magnetic field. So when we drop the magnet through the copper pipe, it's actually generating electricity in the pipe. That electricity being generated is generating a magnetic field that matches the magnet going through it. And for those of you who have ever put North Pole magnets together, they resist. They try and push away. So as the magnet drops through the pipe, it's generating a magnetic field that resists its own motion. So it's not stuck in there. It fits quite easily. But the magnetic flux in the magnet generates electrical flow in here and then makes it a magnet. So electrons going through metal. You guys have all made the little coil magnet when you were kids, right? You wrapped a wire around a nail or something. You make a magnet. You take the power away, magnet stops. So we can take this a step farther and unplug you so I don't kill myself. So transformers, whether it be your iPhone charger or the power coming to your home, there's transformers built in all that, taking higher voltage and dropping it to lower voltages. And these transformers, the wires that come into the primary side, creates a magnetic field. The secondary side, where the power comes out for your phone or your house or whatever, there's no electrical connection between the two. So just just sucked a bunch of paper clips over here. So I have a coil of wire here, and if I apply 120 volts to it, you can hear the magnetic charge, because being AC power, it's flipping directions at 60 cycles a second. So you can hear the actual vibration of the wire as it becomes magnetized and moved. You can even see the wire jump a little bit. But I've got a light bulb attached to this coil of wire. And I can show you, this pipe just increases the magnetic field. So if I turn this on and get this close to it, I can light this light without any electrical connection. So that's how a transformer works at home. I'm actually generating enough magnetic flux in this pipe to pass through this wire, generate enough electricity in this wire to light this light, and it'll get really bright. I can probably blow it up. So I got to be careful how far down I go.
Is that a 12-volt light?
It is a 12-volt light, and I don't know what my max voltage is. I put the light on here before I actually measure the current, the voltage that I can produce. So I can adjust it to make it correct by the number of windings on this. I can reduce the number of windings on this and drop the voltage. So that's how transformers work also. As you drop windings on the secondary, it lowers the voltage. Or like in a microwave oven, it takes your, or this guy takes your 120 volts, and then the secondary's got more windings on it, and that boosts the voltage. So it's all still just a magnetic transfer, but it's directly related to the ratio of the windings on either side.
Between the two coils of wire.
Correct. Yep. So something else I have here. So magnet. Yep, magnet.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm still stuck on, so what in air gives the ability for it to be conductive?
Just the air itself, the molecules, the nitrogen, oxygen, it's everything, whether it be wood or carbon dioxide or oxygen, everything conducts electricity to some point. Just some are better conductors than others. So wood's not a very good conductor, but it's better conductor than rubber is. Air is a worse conductor than wood, but it still will conduct. Once you get the voltage high enough, it can conduct. We're gonna have fun with it on this guy later.
But the atoms are negative and positive.
Well, here it's switching back and forth, and it excites the air molecules. That's what lightning is. Same thing. Lightning's just static electricity, just a big static shock you really don't want to get on your earlobe. that one you feel. So I've got some aluminum discs here, not affected by magnetism. So these are all aluminum. But aluminum does conduct electricity. So if we can run electricity through this loop, we can turn it into a magnet, right? According to the theory. So if I put it on here, I can put electrons through it by putting electrons into this coil, creating a magnet. The magnetic flux will pass through this ring, and as that happens, the ring will generate electricity, which in turn creates a magnetic field. Enough magnetic field to jump off of this. Now, I'm going to have a second demonstration I'm going to do some point down the road, months down the road. So I need you to remember this, and how high these rings jump, because we're going to bring this device back. So I got a thicker ring. Jumps higher, conducts more energy. It's heavier, but because it's thicker, it can conduct a higher amount of current, and therefore it's able to jump a little higher. I have a ring here. I don't know if you can see it. It's not connected all the way through. There's a gap in it. So what's going to happen? Will I still get electricity flow through this ring?
No.
Who says yes? Who says no?
No.
No.
Yes.
Anybody say yes? Say who says yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, nope, can't get it to go. Let's try a couple of here.
Can you explain the reason why?
Everything needs a circuit. The energy needs to actually flow around the ring. And I caught it with my shoe.
Everybody's going,
Oh, I had enough wires around here. Sorry if I hurt your ears. Sorry. So the one with a slot in it, it can't run that electricity through it, and with that, it doesn't generate a magnetic field. So it's trying to, but the electrons can't move. They still see the magnetic field, but they can't move.
now if you were to close the gap a little bit more, would it actually eventually?
If I got enough to where it would spark, was close enough where it could jump the gap, and the higher the voltage, the more gap it'll jump. That's why there's not sparks coming out of the plugs, because at 120 volts, the electricity doesn't jump across. But once you go to 15,000 volts, got that unplugged, it will now jump. And as you see, as it goes up, it's the same voltage all the way up. But as you went higher on the Jacob's ladder, eventually it couldn't make that jump anymore because the voltage wasn't high enough. If I was able to crank that voltage up higher, I could jump a larger gap. You can jump about 10 feet per million volts. And we're going to do a little bit longer distance electrical demonstrations with this guy here in a moment. Anybody have any questions about the magnetism and the electron relationship? Okay. Don't forget the jumping ring. We're going to bring that back in a few minutes. Doing something else. Okay, so I've got this monstrosity right here. This is a homemade Van de Graaff generator. This generates as high as, I made this about 20-something years ago, maybe longer, probably about 25 years ago. And I can't believe it still works. It's amazing. The rubber band in here is actually just a strip of rubber that I glued. It's like a 1/16 of an inch thick, and I glued the edges of it together with rubber cement. And it's still holding 25 years later. Just blows my mind. Anyways, so what this guy's doing is, instead of generating a lot of current, which some of these devices do, this generates a lot of voltage at very, very low current. So this won't hurt you, but I've had it generate as high as about 3/4 of a million volts. Okay, so technically it could light stuff on fire if we did it right, and we have the right conditions. The drier it is, the better. And this does a lot of, it demonstrates a lot of quite a neat things. So I need somebody up here that's not afraid of catching on fire. Commander, come on up.
Quick question: how do you measure that voltage?
Okay, so I go off the theory of 10 feet from real. It's kind of funny how I determined how high I got it once. So since electricity will travel through the air at approximately 10 feet per million volts. I was doing this demonstration at a school once, or it must have been a scouting thing, and it had these little scouts on there. I don't know if they're young Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts. It had to be Cub Scouts because they're little guys. And some people store energy a lot better than others. And so I had this young man scout on here, probably 9 or 10 years old, and he was shooting little arcs off his fingertips and thinking, oh, this was cool. And I went to walk around him. I tried to clear a wide berth around him. I was up on a stage of the school, and I tried to clear around him. I was probably about 6.5, 7 feet away from him. And as I went around him, I pulled a static shock from his butt to me. And so knowing how far that spark went, how far that static shock went, I estimated the voltage at about 750,000 volts. So I demonstrated this last at Squadron 29, which is in a reservoir. Squadron 29, the airport is, for some reason, in a lake. And every once in a while it floods. And I don't know if any of you were ever on any of those flood recovery missions, but that's fun.
You don't want to burn.
You still got the brass buckle on, so you're good.
Yeah, this one.
Oh, that's probably a good plan, sir. And the humidity makes us not work quite as well. So here I'm hoping to have a little bit drier conditions, and we're going to see if we can light up your commander. So, sir, I'm going to have you insulate yourself a little farther because your shoes aren't good enough. Electricity will go right through your feet into the concrete below us. So remember that.
I'm 10 feet away.
Remember, when he gets electrocuted, you get to kick him.
You got to put your hand on there. I don't want to see the big old blazing arc when you go to put your hand on once it's running. Okay, so in case you guys have noticed anything different about your commander, his hair is out of rigs at this point. He's got a little bit taller in the hair department. So, so what's happening? This is generating a ton of electrons, all right? And these, all being the same polarity,
My wife will not make it.
just like the magnetic fields of magnets, these want to get away from each other. So, desperately trying to get away from each other, and in this case, his hair is trying to get away from itself. So, I can point at him with this, and pull some of those electrons away, and make it stick back to his face. Sure, I don't know if you can feel that or not. Your shirt trying to stick to you, but arm hairs. But so what he's do this for us. Hair's already messed up. Oh, okay, now let's see if it gets better. Like I said, with really, really light hair and long hair, like a female with really long hair, it's just amazing. I create this, except he'd probably be arcing off the ceiling at this point. So to demonstrate there's a bunch of electricity and send it taken off, we are going to. This is going to hurt a little when you grab this. So this generally needs to be plugged into one of these to light up. But today, he's going to light it by himself. So go ahead and take this. You can get a little, just a static shock. Okay. So we're going to, where's the light switches in here?
Back there.
Okay. Now, if you can see, you have to get that light near the edge of the T-bar ceiling, near the metal. Get the tip of it near the metal. You can already see it's lighting, right? Get it close, you're going to pull a couple sparks, get it near the metal part.
Yeah.
Closer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold it close and leave it there.
Okay, good, lights. Okay, and let me see how much energy we're producing here. Definitely not 3/4 million volts because I'll walk behind you and you did not pull a spark to me. So all you do is, with your hand closed, just point one finger out. pipe. And you can hear this plasma a little bit there. Hear the plasma coming off there? Yeah. So if it was a little bit darker in here, you'd be able to see a little purple spark. But we might be able to demonstrate the particles coming off his finger if you can reach. Can you reach? Get near it at the side. So you can see the electrons, the plasma is actually blowing the candle up. If we had enough, if it was dry enough, we could actually blow the candle out. Yeah. All right. Hop off of there. Okay. When you touch the ground, your hair's going to go back down. There you go. Almost did. So, show you the power that this thing has. We'll play with some pipe plates. Ouch. Still running. Still coasting to a stop. Sorry, I found your tape and I stole it. I hijacked your investment for your.
It's all right. We stole it from Group 3.
Fair enough. Let's see. You guys can see. Okay, good. We have enough energy. Got it. You can do it. You can do it. They're a little dented. They've been doing this for a few years. There you go. And the last one. Usually from me stepping on them after the fact. Well, I can feel it from here. I can feel the plasma coming off.
Are you still carrying the tattoo on your behind from the last shot?
No. Well, it wasn't my behind. It was the poor little Cub Scout. So, gee, that's why they don't fit together anymore. Because of me. You guys do have a vacuum Squadron, right?
Yeah, but nobody knows how to use it but you.
No, not tonight. Well, the mess is right in one spot.
And that's what's wrong with our Group 3.
So my wife's a special needs teacher. That's why I've been married so long. She knows how to deal with me. So somebody left a bunch of paper dots over here on your floor. Let's try this again. Give yourselves a little paper dot.
Oh, you lost the tape there.
I am a professional. Do try this at home. Oh, I made it worse. Okay. Who wants to, Colonel Pierce, would you like to see if we get your hair to stand up?
Ain't much there. It's easy in and easy out of the shower nowadays.
Anybody want to get electrocuted? Or who's been electrocuted before? I gotcha. Been shocked. Misnomer. A lot of people use electric. It's used absolutely interchangeably all the time. But generally electrocuted, you don't get to talk about. So who wants to come up here and get shocked? It's fun. Sir, you had fun? Come on.
It only bites for a little while.
just for a little bit.
Everybody's afraid of it.
So you're up. So your body works on electricity. Ah, it's the best plug on there. So I can have it actually work by fingers. Come on, I need more power. Voltage isn't high enough.
You spin it faster.
Okay, so you can see I'm hitting just the right muscle to move my left ring finger a little bit. See if I can change my different muscle.
What about your watch?
You didn't need that.
Super relaxed. Yeah, keep going for that ring finger. Who heard needs anybody got a pacemaker want to recharge? Hey, you can feel the plasma coming off this thing. Anybody? Come on, new people! It's like flying. Oh, that went through my feet. Through the carpet. So I don't really have any hair to stand up. Definitely, you definitely still feel it though. You feel everything on you trying to get away from you. Okay, so you felt it in your arms everywhere. Can you hear the? Can you hear the little lightning bolt? You can't. You're deep. Let's see what does this computer.
No, that's not.
Build up for a little bit. Take these off. Some leaking out through those. Not quite enough to blow this out. For those of you who can hear that. Sure, no electrocutions for anybody else tonight? It's gonna make my demo short. It doesn't hurt. It's fine. Nothing to it. Recharge.
I better not go. My heart's bad enough.
Jumping ring. Anybody want to play with any of the toys up here? The check out the magnetic lenses law demo.
I like that. What's that? What's the law that lenses?
Lenses law. L-E-N-Z.
L-E-N-Z. Okay.
L-E-N-Z. That's also related to the jumping ring,
Right.
but I forget exactly the tie-in to it. But it's all about generating a magnetic field with a.
I'm actually impressed of that magnet going through the copper pipe.
Yeah,
How it made magnetics for itself.
Yeah, for sure. So if anybody, nope, not magnetic.
What is a practical application for that?
You're looking at it.
You
Just
can do
a
science
demonstration.
demos. There is the science demos. That's a great part. I actually saw it used once. Really, really dangerous demonstration of preventing an impact. Somebody took a very powerful neodymium magnet, and the bigger ones of these are insanely dangerous because they're so strong. But he used one in some sort of YouTube thing I saw, where he was able to have it accelerate towards an object, and the principles of Lenz's law, electrical magnetic conversion, prevented it from coming in contact with its obstacle.
Wow.
And it was but it's a gnarly, scary magnet. It's the size of one of these pie plates, and you can't actually let it touch anything without some sort of
Pry bar.
probably gonna stick to that too. Some sort of heavy equipment to pull it back off.
Right.
Because they're just insanely dangerous. I've got some that are 1.25 inches square, and they are nearly impossible to get apart once you get them together. You can do it by hand, but you got to pry on a table, and the magnetic forces in those are pretty insane. But anybody else play with a toy? Come on up, try it. Do the jumping rings.
Have you ever experimented with any of the superconductors that actually float?
Ah, so you have to wait for my second demo.
When's
In a
that?
few months. In a few months. So my second demonstration I do, I'll demonstrate a little bit of superconductor properties, and that's going to happen in 2-3 months or so. I got to make the round with everybody with this one first.
Do you have the levitation
I demonstrate it
superconductor
slightly differently.
limitation?
I still demonstrate it, but I don't have anything float. I can experiment with that
Yeah.
before I come back
You
because
don't
I
have
should
any,
be able to do that.
like super cooled, superconductor material like that?
I just super cool conductors, and we'll demonstrate how they change from normal conductors.
Are you going to demonstrate how they lock the state of where you place the item?
No, I have to learn about that more first. Right now, I just try and electrocute cadets.
Oh, so
That's
I got
impressive.
a question then. Let's go
Yes, sir.
back to the split ring.
Okay,
So let's put the split ring on first, followed by,
split ring on.
followed by a complete collar.
Okay.
Now, will the split ring follow the collar when you turn on the power?
No.
I don't expect it to. Nope, it's still there. Go the other way around. It will.
Well, yeah, because the solid one's pushing the,
Yep,
the
yep,
split ring, but the magnetics aren't going around the split one,
And
because it
if they're,
won't complete
if
the
they're
circuit
both,
around.
if they're both joined.
Yeah. So when it's touching it, it's completing it. But the moment it leaves,
Yeah, it splits,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying.
yeah. So technically, while it's touching, there probably is, and maybe if we had
There's
a
probably a
high-speed
value.
camera or something in here that we could see it.
Yeah, there's probably a value to that, yeah.
And then I'm kinda curious if you just tie the wire between the split ring and then see what would happen.
You mean
It
tie
doesn't
a
bleed at
wire
all.
through the split, you mean?
Yep,
Well, then that would
It
That would,
should.
that would
No, but
complete
it-
the circuit, however, it's
it would
not,
complete the circuit.
it's
It
a, it's an
wouldn't have any-
irregular
I
size.
It's
have
like a
wire.
It
resistor.
still
Yeah.
would be
I have a wire right here.
it still would be a,
It would complete the circuit, but I'm not sure if it would push it
Can you just
equally, because it's got a irregular,
yep, field.
Okay,
mass.
so I just put a paper clip on it.
It's been a long time since school.
So I expect it to jump. Oh, interesting. It moved.
Yeah, but see, it's got an irregular shape,
It's not that, it's.
irregular mass, I mean.
It's not allowing a field to be generated around it.
It's definitely moving now, though. So it's doing something to it.
See, that little wire is so thin, the magnetic field around that wire is so
Yeah.
thin.
Oh, you know what it's doing? When it's magnetizing, because the paper clip, it's pulling it towards the paper clip's getting pulled to the pipe.
I was gonna say, the paper clip is steel and the other one's
Right.
aluminum,
So they're sticking to each other.
Right, so you got a different,
Yeah.
dynamic going there. Now, if you had aluminum wire, maybe. Anybody got any aluminum paper clips? Good job, good try.
Not going to happen. It's going to say no.
Like I
Anybody
said, I
wanna
wonder if
come
that's
play?
because of the mass differential on it.
This stuff has always fascinated me, since I was a little kid. Even, there's a place in Boulder, Colorado that teaches about this stuff. And they actually have like a tractor. The Pistons were doing this magnetic, they had a magnetic tractor.
Right.
And yeah, this stuff has always fascinated me.
Well, come and play. Yeah, it fascinated me, and I just stayed 13. I just got my body got older.
Well, also, I think to answer the other question about practical applications, it's in all of our magnetos. This is partially how the magnetos work.
Oh yeah, very much so, very much so. Yep. Generating power for your spark plug by passing a magnet. But then again, so is all the hydroelectric, all the nuclear, all the power plants are doing the same thing. One way or another, they're turning a magnet past a conductor, and that's generating your power. So that's exactly what's happening. Technically, another kind of interesting way to demonstrate it, which I should probably put together for this, is you take two speakers where you have the cones where you can touch them. If you just wire them together without any other electronics inside, you just wire speaker to speaker. If you push on one, the other one goes too. So the magnetic force in one makes the other one go. And if you flip the wires, it might make one goes up when you push the other one down. Flip the wires back, and it'll both go the same direction. When I was little, I wanted to set up an intercom so my friends could come and find me, run up to the garage, the house, whatever, and I had a speaker in my room and a speaker down in the garage. They'd go down there, just yell into the speaker, no electronics, no fancy stuff. And I could hear them. We could talk back and forth, a little intercom without any wire, without any power. So you have to kind of yell. I could probably hear them through the house anyways, but it was still fun to make it.
Well, if you take 2 paper cups with a string in between, it does the same.
Yeah, but once you close the door on the string, it doesn't work anymore.
I don't know.
Come on, somebody's got to want to play with some of this.
What was that
I,
you wanted
to
to
tell
do
you the
with
truth,
rings?
don't want to try it because I have a bad heart and I don't know what it'll do, so.
This won't hurt your heart.
Oh, well, that,
There you go.
give me that. Is this the magnet?
That's just the magnet.
Wow. Wow, that's kind of insane. I like that.
Yeah, that's a fun demo. Super simple demo.
That copper tube.
And you can hear it, it's going very slow, it's sliding down the pipe.
I need to find a magnet that's got, a round magnet that's got a hole in it that I can put around the outside and see if it does the same thing.
You mean go on the outside?
Mhm.
It's been a long time since I've done electrical theory, so here's your magnet.
Pick these up before I destroy my props language.
Yeah. Have to reshape a couple of
You
those.
guys keep a messy squadron here. But
Tell the commander about that.
at 29, there was a big map, a big aviation chart on the wall. And it apparently had the opposite charge of all my little paper dots. And that map got covered in paper dots before I left.
Yeah, listen, it very slowly drops through the pipe, so it's
Yeah.
creating a magnetic something in there, and it's got space and weight. So if that magnet was heavier, would it go faster?
I don't know.
Or, I mean, if it was bigger, would it go faster or the same speed?
I don't know. I should see if I can find a longer magnet that's got
Yeah.
more weight.
I think it would get
Actually, all I gotta do is, I probably have a second magnet. I should just try the 2 magnets together.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you can see what it does.
Technically, it should do the same thing.
But yeah, but you're going negative to positive on there, so when it comes down, it might counteract itself. Don't know. Cause it won't stick.
Come on,
against
you know
me.
you wanna play with it.
Well, I'm just thinking that there should be a current, so if you were trying to measure the outside of it,
I don't know how you would do that, cause it's a dead short too, at the same time. But you know there's power being generated, because the magnetic field's being generated. And it's kinda a little bit mind-boggling for those of us that were electricians, thinking, if we have a dead short, how could there be power moving?
For the rings, if you put aluminum inside, like I don't know, like a cylinder.
But Ken, that has an
shoot
air
that
gap,
out,
so-
same as
Interesting.
does the rings,
I don't know.
like a railgun.
I'll have to try that.
Ken, that has an air gap, that's why it's going, I think it's going like this. You know?
Yeah, but the
I mean,
steel, but the steel slug doesn't.
Huh?
But the steel slug doesn't.
aluminum.
Well, no, because it's not magnetic.
And you know, I had cadets notice,
But, I mean, is there a way to take like a fiber optics camera to see if it's going like this?
We
Or it's
could-
vibrating or hitting like
At-
this? Cause it's making some sort of noise, so it's either friction.
at 29, a couple of the cadets noticed that the magnet is spinning inside when it goes down.
See, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
So,
That's what
Would it work on a clear plastic tube?
No, it's not a conductor. Now, unless you had clear aluminum, which does exist, but it would probably cost you about $100,000. Transparent aluminum, yeah.
So here's what Lindsay's law is.
Never heard of
it's
it.
called Star
No, it's
Trek.
real. It is real.
Plastic
You know,
aluminum.
it's a Star Trek joke.
Remember
I
when
thought
they
that was only on
transparent
Star
brought
Trek.
the
does
whales
exist.
back
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Transparent aluminum?
the past?
Remember when you put that big thing in there?
Scotty created this plastic aluminum to make the tank
Yeah, they
inside
had the
of the
whales.
Star Trek.
Remember when
Oh,
they
wow.
did the
Did you
whales?
ever, did you ever see that?
So
No.
Lindsay's law
Yeah, an interesting one. They had to go
states
back
that
in
the direction
time
of the induced
to get a
current in the
whale
coil
to bring to the future
is always
to talk
such
to
that it
this
opposes the change of the
thing that was trying to kill off
link
everybody on Earth.
vapor
Oh.
processes that produce it.
Interesting.
Where's the whale?
What
happened to the whale?
Used as medical metal detectors.
Scotty was saying, well, how do we know that this guy didn't invent the plastic aluminum?
It's always.
Yeah, so it's the same polarity as the magnet creating it, so it's,
Yeah,
A
I'm
magnet
supposed to be there
is
Friday and Saturday.
flux.
Right.
yep.
That's why we start with
I don't know if
a
they
magnet
I'll
in
go there
flux,
one
so
day
we're
for
inducing.
Yeah, and see, that's the copper pipe is a conductor, so it's conducting that electricity inside.
If you could have
Something else that's always fascinated me is protons. how they can be in the same state as a wave and a particle at the same time.
Right, just light. Light itself is actually
Now I gotta
waves
look at all
and
that in
particles.
Right, the photon.
And there's some crazy experiments related to that.
This was developed in
Hold on.
1843.
I want to put a little slug in that, see if it shoots it out.
Well,
A
it's a
rail
1 inch
gun?
pipe, so you get me aluminum slug just under 1 inch.
1 inch, okay.
And we'll try it. I'll bring it back.
So you're talking about a rail, you're talking about a rail gun?
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially.
It might.
It might do it.
Not have enough power, maybe make it small.
Well, it might come out slow, but I mean, if it comes out, then you can change the value
Yep.
of the wire windings to
Power.
get different velocities, right?
Power. Rail.
Right? Railgun. Make your own railgun.
Then we see if we can improve to put them on the wings of the cap aircraft.
Well, didn't they make something like that? A couple of science kids took the part out of a microwave oven and created a railgun. It was on one of the Fantastic Kids slash.
Well, you know they experiment with railguns on Navy ships.
Yeah,
Insanely powerful weapons.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the kids built it with a the magnetometer out of a microwave oven, right? Took the part, stuck some sort of rail on it, and stuck little aluminum parts in there.
Yeah, I've got a little demo I do with those too, with the microwave power supplies. But it's got to be done outdoors because it will catch fire. It will light fires.
It doesn't go any faster?
Nope. Come on, get it out of there. What's wrong with you?
There it is. Took
Wow.
longer.
Now I suspect if you force it to go faster, it generates higher current,
Higher resistance, right?
higher voltage, higher.
Hit it on the ground quick. And see, it
I bet it's bouncing back up.
It didn't make a difference, yeah. There it goes. Wow. That's bizarre.
But that's exactly how our magnetos work.
Yep.
New shocks
Okay,
for
so
your
next
car.
time you come, I want you to draw drawings on a board that shows us the magnetic field.
I can't even
of
figure out what
everything that you've done so we can understand it.
I can't even figure out what a Benjamin Davis word is for.
Benjamin Davis, what?
Benjamin.
Oh, that's right, the Benjamin Davis Award, yeah.
You want me to draw?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Major.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
That was great. Well, that concludes our airspace education meeting. So I need a volunteer to perform
Vacuum?
at the next one. Well, vacuum too, yes.
Need a volunteer to perform for the next
For
meeting?
the next airspace education
Oh,
meeting. So we need the airspace education officer job to be filled. So please let me know after it.
For AE, you can do science.
The job is fun. It's doing some science presentation.
you can do STEM science, you can do LED, how do you make LEDs and how do you make LEDs work? Try that.
So, yeah, we still have some time, so let's talk quickly about the WIN conference, which will take place next month.
Yes.
It's open to all members. The cost, I believe, is $175.
You wanna go for every.
If you want to go for every event.
And the banquet and events like
That includes banquet and the full dinner with nice meal. And I believe it starts on Thursday night and goes through Sunday.
Now the Thursday night, there are some extra classes on Thursday night, but you don't have to go to those unless you really need those classes. Generally, the Friday evening is going to be the Wing Commander's reception, and the majority of classes happen on Saturday. So, yes, sir.
Do they have the syllabus online yet of what they're gonna be doing?
That came up the
They
last,
have a schedule, but not syllabus.
Well, syllabus schedule, you know what I'm talking about. Do they have any kind of
They have a program.
advertised program of
Yes.
what they're doing yet?
Uh,
So tell them where to look that up. They might see something they like.
I will send an email to the squadron with the link to the actual event and the calendar. So if you see anything of your interest, please go ahead and do it. My objective is meet new people from other squadrons, discuss what are the squadron's plans for next fiscal year, how effectively engage members and help our communities, etc. So plus I will finish some of my Squadron Commander classes at that event.
Very cool.
And if anyone is interested, we can carpool. I'm at Chino Hills, so we can meet someplace and drive in one car rather than two cars. It is for CEP members, basically a wing.
Where is it gonna be this year?
Woodland Hills.
Oh, Woodland.
Yeah, so it's in LA.
Close.
not very far.
It's
Yeah. Yeah, if you're gonna go to one, go now.
Yeah.
Because you'll find them in San Francisco, in Bakersfield,
San
San Jose.
Francisco,
Yeah, so they move around, and this one is really close. So if you've been waiting to go now.
They're the 1 year they're north and the second year they're south. So that's how they do it.
Santa Maria, Sacramento.
Right.
But yeah, Fresno.
We've had it at Newport Beach. We've had it.
Yep. So grab this one while it's close.
Yeah, we've had it a couple, 3 places around this area. I think twice we had it in Ontario.
Last week of it. Yeah, last week
Huh?
of September.
Last place we were at was terrible.
That was a dive.
Yeah, they fixed it up. They tried to fix it up, and it was.
It's still. I don't think it's done yet. I went by it the other day.
No, that hotel was made by modules, and they looked like containers. They put them together, bolted them together,
Yeah.
the wood and everything. Then they came back and they stuck on the outside, stuck on the inside with walls, and made it a hotel.
Yeah, it was I mean,
It's had about 4 owners.
yeah. I didn't like the one we had in, I can't remember where that was, Santa Maria.
It's all nice if you're flying because you get the airport's right there. You can.
Well, the one that we had up north, the problem was I was staying in the south wing, and then I had to go down the hallway, up the stairs, across the thing, down the
That was
stairs.
the last
Remember that one?
That was the last one we went to.
I hated that.
Before they, yeah.
It
That was
almost took,
before the
it almost
COVID.
took me out in an ambulance.
Yeah, I can't remember. What was the name of that hotel?
I couldn't make the stairways. I couldn't navigate that.
Yeah.
I had to get in my car and drive
Actually, the
around.
one in Santa Maria has always been fairly good. Let's see, Oakland was so-so. Fresno, Bakersfield is reasonable.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
And the one that's in Honey.
Everybody
actually
grab
Costa
another
Mesa.
cookie there.
The Newport Beach one?
Yeah,
Yeah. Costa Mesa, Newport.
it got a little bit expensive for some of the guys,
Well, yeah, the hotel room was pretty expensive,
and even the meals there.
but I didn't have to get one there. I just drove there in 30 minutes.
Is the meeting adjourned or?
Okay, the meeting is adjourned. We can close it now, and of course we can discuss.
Are you the only one that's going to the conference right now?
Well, so far I'm only one. If anyone is interested, let's go
I would
together.
probably go if I can room with somebody. I'm on a tight budget right now.
Room with this guy.